What's going on, everybody? It's the Hook Cam. Welcome back to another film breakdown. Today, I'm going to be taking a look at Darren Waller, tight end for the Oakland Raiders. This kid came out of nowhere, and he was one of those guys. I was going back and I'm watching some Raiders film because I really want to put together like a Raiders offensive preview video for Jackson over at his channel. And, you know, I'm watching clip after clip of, you know, where the new guys could fit into this offense. And Darren Waller is an absolute stud. And it's not like I didn't know that before, but really watching the film, this kid's legit. Before his season last year, the most catches he had in a single season was 10. He pops off last year with Oakland, 90 receptions, 1,100 yards, 3 touchdowns. And it was really cool to go back and watch the film and see the trust that Gruden put in him early, and then see him really evolve into this safety valve for Derek Carr whenever he needed it. And his catch and run ability, his open field, like his ability to run routes in the open field, make quick cuts, get dudes off him. I mean, this kid's good. And I don't really know if he's being talked about that much. And I got to give the dude his due. I mean, this kid's legit. So with all that being said, we're going to dive on into this thing. Before we do, if you could hit that like button, hit that subscribe button to my channel, The Hook Cam, it would mean the world to me, as well as to Jackson Kruger Sports. I know this will end up on there. He's got a very strong Raiders following. All you Raiders fans, I'm excited to dive into this one. So with all that being said, let's get going with this thing. Darren Waller early in the season, you know, in this game against Denver, it was pretty clear how much Gruden trusted him. And he's lined up right here at the bottom of the screen. He's just got one-on-one matchup with this corner. And basically, he's just going to out-physical him off the line. He doesn't even really give him that quick stutter step. He's just going to run right through him. And I love this part about him is that he knows how to use his size, right? Get upfield, cut this dude in half, put your arm right in his chest. Now we're working upfield. He's trying to stack him, but he doesn't get too far in front. Beautiful throw by Derek Carr, by the way, right over the top in the bucket. Does a great job of kind of walling off with that arm. Hey, some people are going to complain. Some people are going to call it PI. Whatever, man. That's just a good physical football play in my eyes. Does a great job tracking that football and letting that thing land right in the bucket. Now, talking about his yards after the catch ability, which we'll see a lot on this screen right against Minnesota, and this was a game that the Raiders had a tough time with, no doubt, but look at this dude just eat up yardage, man. Just getting upfield. He's fast, he's great with the ball in his hands, can break tackles really well, makes smart cuts. He's not wasting space out there. The dude's just an absolute stud, and I know that I'm kind of like gushing over this guy. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. Tight ends really are a guilty pleasure of mine. Every offensive lineman dreams about, like, man, what could I have done as a tight end? Now, there's no way I would have been a good tight end because I'm like 6 feet tall and it's just not going to happen. But Darren Waller, much better athlete than I will ever be, and taking a look at this route from him right there here, this is like a little stick and go, and the Vikings run a ton of cover too, so they're going to drop here, and it's up to this linebacker right here to wall off number 3, right? So as he works to wall off, we give him that quick little stick like we're going to break this thing out, and then he comes right back upfield, splitting these two safeties. He could probably sell it a little bit more, but dude, check him out, just going up and getting this football. Not the best placed ball, but still within his catch radius, which is obviously insane. Does a really good job tracking that thing, catching it in a dangerous space, and picking up a big first down for his team. Here we go on this route again. Minnesota runs a ton of cover too, right? We said it before, obviously with the last play. Here we go again. This backer is going to work to wall off number 3 right here as we're working upfield. Well, as we work upfield, it looks like we're going to go vertical, which is why he's going to pass this thing off to a safety who can hopefully close on it if it gets far enough upfield. Backer does a good job coming off underneath. However, he leaves that open space right there, and there's a big catch for Darren Waller. But again, I love the fact that he's making catches. He's making catches in traffic. They're not just clean catches that he's making. He's catching these balls. He's getting hit right away, and he's hanging on to it for a big gain. Here we go again, and talking about that trust that Gruden has in him. Here he is at the bottom, and this was something really cool that you noticed early in the season, and it just carried on, right? We trust this kid, and that's kind of one of the things that I love about Gruden is that Gruden doesn't care whether or not he's quote-unquote known in the football league. He's going to give him the chances because of what he's seen in practice and how he's earned that spot. Here he goes working upfield. That corner's going to pass it off because he's getting a vertical threat right here with the back. And then Waller does a great job working right in between these two backers. Once again, it's looking like a cover 2 look for the Colts here. He does a good job finding that zone, and that's something that I really noticed with his game last year, which is obviously the year that he's really popped off, but he did such a good job of finding that zone, finding that open space. And then here we go again. You know, I talk about how well the Raiders run the rock. Here's a great example of them running that stretch, right, giving that wide zone look. We're going to sneak Waller across the formation here. Something really popular for the Raiders to do is they'll run wide zone, and then they'll wham on the back side. So they're going to run wide zone with everybody else, and then they're going to give this wham across, because usually you're going to have a safety or someone responsible, and you pull them away from the play. You also get a nice little seal on this backside defender, whoever it may be. But again, you also set up your boot action rollout, right? So here we go. Waller's going to give that quick fake, get that ball out, and we're upfield. Again, he just became that safety valve for Derek Carr, and there were a lot of throws like that I didn't really want to put in here. Yes, it does show his yards after the catch ability and what he can do with the ball in his hands. However, I think as far as his route running and really what he does with the ball not in his hands when he's setting up his routes and when he's setting up his catch, I think that speaks volumes about him. And here we go again against the Packers. He's going to run a corner route right here, and this is just a beautiful route, right? Working upfield, getting that safety's hips to turn, make it look like you're selling that thing vertical, break that to the sideline, create that separation, man. That's so hard to do in the NFL. And you see quarterbacks struggle when it's not done for them, and it's not necessarily because they're not good enough or because whatever it could be, but it's just tough to do in the NFL. But again, a ball that's a little bit behind, Darren Waller's got no problem going up and catching that thing and then getting 2 feet in bounds too. This dude's got phenomenal body control. He just proved this year that he's a legit tight end in the NFL. I mean, just an outstanding year from this kid. The more that I watch film on him, the more that I like him. Here's a really good look and kind of just a good football 101 sort of deal. A lot of times when you're inside the 10 or inside the 5, teams will run zone, which is exactly kind of what they're doing. Again, they're just, you know, letting everything happen in front of them, which is going to happen right here. Ideally, you have this cat drop back a little bit more. Waller gives that quick stutter step, making it look like he's going to break this thing out. It's going to hesitate this backer for just long enough for him to cut this thing upfield. Now, because that Mike doesn't keep sinking in his zone, it's going to leave a nice little jump ball for Darren Waller to go get. Just again, setting that route up, just like I was talking about earlier. And then here we go again with this quick play action right here with Derek Carr, almost a little mess up in the backfield there. However, what I love about this route from Waller is the fact that he's going to run this thing away from danger, right? So we watch him right here as he's stepping upfield. We're going to swim past this kid right here. Great job there. Eyes are still on the quarterback from this from this defender. And then when we work upfield, we're working away from corners and safeties. I like that. Sometimes you might get guys who are kind of brain dead and just stemming this thing upfield. Then we got routes that are running into each other. Really good job from him running this thing away from danger. Good ball from Carr and a big pickup. And once again, catching that ball in traffic when you know there's going to be some contention with that catch. It's something that's so key. And we saw, you know, obviously for me as a Patriots fan, I saw a lot this last year of those contested catches and, you know, 50-50 sometimes whether those guys are going to catch it. In fact, more often than not, it seems like they weren't, especially watching New England. No shade against them, a lot of young bucks out there, but it was really good to see that from Darren Waller this year, who's getting that amount of workload, right? Who's getting the ball thrown at him a lot, and he's making a ton of good catches. And once again, just the trust from Gruden to set him out up here at the top of this formation, let him go get this thing. Not super fancy, just going to run through a guy and then put that ball up, let your boy go get it. Nice back shoulder from Derek Carr, but again, making that catch in traffic and just becoming that matchup problem, right? And we see guys who have done so well in the past, guys like Gronk, guys like Travis Kelce, who make a living off of being a matchup problem. They're too fast for a backer, they're too physical for a corner, and they're just taller and better than a lot of safeties who are going to cover them. Here we go with a one-on-one situation from Waller right here. He's going to be the number 2 receiver, working outfield, just that quick little shuffle step. Again, we're checking to see if there's any rushers that he needs to pick up. He works outside there, and we're one-on-one right here. Really good job stemming this thing outside and cutting it back in and then gaining some separation and space, getting upfield, and we're upfield for a big-time gain. This kid really did everything that the Raiders asked of him when it came to catching the football. There were some instances where he did lack a little bit blocking. I think that will get better, especially with this coaching staff and how well the Raiders do run the football. And it wasn't like he was horrible. There's been a couple of good clips that I saw. There wasn't enough for me to really say, hey, this dude's there blocking-wise. I think he does have a little bit to go. But this kid was just an absolute stud for the Raiders. I thought I should make a video on him. He's going to be really exciting to watch because he is 100% a matchup problem. for the NFL. It's going to be really interesting to see who he's going to match up against, especially when they're playing teams like the Broncos, Chiefs, and the Chargers for 2 times this season. So with all that being said, guys, I'm the Hook Cam. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you are enjoying the content that's being put out on my channel. I got a lot of good feedback from the Hook Eric's content that he's putting out on my channel, and we all really appreciate that. If you haven't already, if you could hit that like button, hit that subscribe button to my channel, the Hook Cam, as well as to Jackson Kruger Sports, that would just mean the world to me. And I hope everybody's staying safe out there. Hope everybody's washing their hands. Hope everybody's being nice to other people. With all that being said, guys, that's all I got for you today. Stay safe out there, and I will see you next time.